and welcome to a virtual choir spring fling. If you are joining us for the premiere, please join in the live chat. We would love to interact with you while we watch the performance. My name is Ryan Noakes, and since April of 2020, I have had the pleasure of being the music director of the Cantabile Singers of Kamloops. Now, first things first, the highly observant among you will likely have noticed a small continuity error in my appearance. You see, the videos of me conducting were recorded at the end of February and the start of March as part of creating the resources for the singers to practice with and eventually record themselves. These speaking bits are being recorded in May. Clearly, I have not gotten a haircut. And last month, I got new glasses. So there you are, continuity error explained. So we started out with Norwegian composer Ola Gjeilo's piece The Ground, which is based on the final movement of his Sunrise Mass, which is called Identity and the Ground, because he wanted to convey a sense of having arrived at the end of the Mass, to have achieved a kind of peace and grounded strength after the long journey and having gone through so many different emotional landscapes. A strange thing, perhaps, to begin with an ending, but these are strange times we're living in. And speaking of strange times, our next selection for you is the well-known spiritual Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen. As we make our way through this pandemic, it can often feel as though we are going through everything alone, cut off from everyone, just as the speaker in this song feels. But we are, in fact, all in this together. As this virtual choir presentation shows, we may be physically distant, but we are not alone.
Nobody, 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 nobody knows such trouble. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down. Oh, yes, Lord. Sometimes I'm almost to the ground. Oh, yes, Lord. Oh, you see me going on so. Oh, yes, Lord. I've had my trials here below. Oh, yes, Lord. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Nobody knows but Jesus. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. Glory, hallelujah.
As we were preparing to start working on this concert, I invited the members of Cantabile to record a solo if they felt so inclined. As I'm a believer in putting your money where your mouth is, I also recorded a short song. And so, in the interest of leading by example, I will go first. Maybe this will help settle people's nerves, right? Oh, wait. This is all pre-recorded. Well, anyways, I will be singing for you Im wunderschönen Monat Mai, the first song in Robert Schumann's song cycle Dichterliebe. The English translation of the text is, in the beautiful month of May, when all the buds burst open, love has risen in my heart. In the beautiful month of May, when all the birds sang, I confessed to her all my yearnings and desires. I thought this might be an appropriate selection for a concert experience being presented in the beautiful month of May. Immediately following this short song, we have a solo performance by our amazing pianist, Pat Rustin. I always like to say that in a choir rehearsal, a good pianist is worth twice their weight in gold. And I think I speak for everybody in Cantabile when I say that Pat needs to put on a little weight before we calculate the gold for her.
Im wunderschönen Monat Mai, als alle Knospen sprangen, da ist in meinen Herzen die Liebe aufgegangen. Im wunderschönen Monat Mai, als alle Vögel sangen, da hab ich hier gestanden, mein Sehnen und Verlangen.
I will be playing a piece called Milonga del Ángel by Astor Piazzolla. And the reason I chose this piece was when one of my children played it many years ago for an RCM examination. I don't remember if it was my son or my daughter, but I just took an immediate liking to it. It's very rhythmic. A milonga is a slow dance. And so when I play it, I hope you can imagine two people having a wonderful dance together.
the full choir back now, our next selection for you is Good Night, Dear Heart by Dan Forrest. This was a highly requested song choice from the singers and is a beautiful and poignant work, though of a sad origin. The text was taken from the poem that Mark Twain placed on the tombstone of his beloved daughter Susie, and was composed as a musical elegy following the tragic death of the composer's 4-month-old niece. After my request for solo recordings went out, a lovely trio was formed to record our next musical offering, We Celebrate the Birth of Spring, composed by Vicki Courtney with text by John Parker. This delightful piece is being performed by Melanie, Christine, and Florence, with Pat playing the piano part.
Hi there. A friend of mine sent me a video of her choir singing this song in Northern Ireland, and I thought it would be a really neat song to sing in this spring performance. So I invited a couple of ladies to sing with me, and I just invite you to enjoy Melanie, Christine, and Florence singing We Celebrate the Birth of Spring. Words are by John Parker, and the music by Vicki, Tucker, Courtney.
Spring in me has taken birth, the sun is nearing to the earth, and of solstice days, cherry blossoms blaze, with gratitude and joy we sing, to celebrate the birth of spring. Come back, Carolina, and sing your song again. We don't like go through the forest void of snow. Hearts are glad to hear you sing and celebrate the birth of spring, of spring, of spring. Blade and leaf alive and green, button flower yet unseen, winking wasps and fly into the leaves of my eye. Nature wakes again to sing, to celebrate the birth of spring. Celebrate the birth of spring.
Well, friends, we have nearly reached the end. We only have one selection left. Before we get to it, though, I want to say just how amazing it has been to work with the singers in the choir. Singing in a choir usually means being surrounded by fellow singers, being one of many voices singing together. There's a great feeling of belonging and support and camaraderie in singing together. Doing the virtual choir thing, you are isolated and alone, which is very much the antithesis of the choral singing experience. You have to step well outside your comfort zone to record yourself in isolation like this. And it can be very easy for your insecurities to run rampant. You're not good enough, that wicked voice in your head tries to tell you. Well, I think that we can all agree that that voice is very, very wrong. So, a massive thank you from the depths of my soul to all the singers who silenced that voice, stepped outside their comfort zone, and recorded themselves for this presentation. This presentation would absolutely not happen if the singers had not been able to do that. So thank you all so much. You're truly amazing and wonderful human beings, and words truly cannot express just how privileged I am to be able to work with you. And now, our final selection for our virtual choir spring fling, Unclouded Day by the Reverend J.K. Allwood. This is an 8-part, and sometimes more than 8-part, a cappella arrangement by Shawn Kirchner, which incorporates traditional gospel writing, bluegrass vocal stylings, and even an exciting fugue. If you are so moved as to want to make a small donation to the choir to help us pay for things like the rent on future rehearsals once we can get back together, purchasing new music, etc., you can send us an e-transfer or just contact us at cantablesingerskamloops@gmail.com. That email address is in the video description down below. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of everyone in the Cantabile Singers of Kamloops, I wish you well.
Oh, they tell me